Hello there, my name's Bobby Waldron and this is the Genessis-Models show, August 2014. Now, coming up in the show, we're going to be having a nice product review of some brushes, some Kolinsky brushes. We're also going to be having a nice inbox review of Edard's Hellcat 1/48 scale. We're going to have some nice kit release news, plus we've got 3 new video builds coming up for August starting because the Zero and the BF 109 video builds ended last month, so look out for that. Plus we're going to be having July competition winner, plus what's going to be the competition for August 2014, plus the news and more. But let's get started with the show, and let's start off with a nice inbox review of this nice F6 F5 Hellcat late edition 1/48 scale Provi Pack by Edard. Hello there, welcome to Genessis-Models. My name's Bobby Waldron. In this video we're going to have an inbox review of Edard's F6 F5 Hellcat late edition. It's 1/48 scale. It is a Provi Pack edition as well, so we get a nice few bits of aftermarket parts in there. So let's just open up the box and let's have a quick look of what we get before we actually open bags up and really have a good close look. First thing, you get the lovely instructions that you always get with Edard kits. We have nicely separately bagged our canopy stuff, nice resealable bag as well, so we can keep them nicely sealed up. We get one bag here which does have what looks like to be the wing section, the fuselage halves, 2 separate sprues, and then like a little sprue just here, which probably is a bit of an engine cowl bit there going on, and that's rather nice. It's a nice sort of brown plastic. Then we have another sprue which has two big sheets sprues with a little one which looks like rockets just in the middle, and these are all just like your little bits and bobs. So packaging is pretty good, not the best, but it's actually rather good. What we also have in here is we get a nice resealable bag with some nice resin wheels in there, rather nice. We have some nice canopy masks as well, so nice added extra. We then have some nice cockpit photo etch as well, nicely coloured, nice bonus there. Turn it over, and we've also got some other photo etch, not painted, but we've got what looks like to be like engine detail, bit of exterior detail and everything. So 2 nice photo etch frets there, and then the last thing in the box is we've got 2 sheets of decals, which is looking rather nice as well. So I'm just going to go off, do some research, check out, open it all up, and then we'll have a closer look. Starting off with the instructions, we've got a nice introduction of the Hellcat just there. Nice satin, good quality paper, in colour, nice instructions. And yes, looking at the instructions, you know, we've got all this nice photo etch, and it shows you what bits need to be cut off and where to put the photo etch and the seat belts. You know, very nicely coordinated to where everything glues, and it is a typical World War II fighter. Do your cockpit, 2 fuselage halves coming together. Yes, we've got the engine detail to do, and actually it's a little bit different. The wing sections, it's 2 wing. Sorry to cut that short, but as usual the full release will be in August on the usual Friday news update, sometime in August. Now I'm going to come to a part of the show when I want to talk about the video build. I want to talk about changing the format, because the format has always been releasing 1 video episode each and every week for one of the builds, and then another build is being released each and every fortnight, right? So it's always been 2 video builds, and one's been 1 week and one's been every fortnight. What I want to change it to now is I want to make all video builds on a fortnightly basis, but add another video build. So this way, you know, instead of having 2 video builds, we've got 3 video builds going on at all times, but they're on a fortnightly release each one. Now if you work out the maths, you know, you're still getting the same amount of episodes, so you know, don't feel like you're losing out or anything. It's still the same. All it means is it just adds that nice bit of variety. For instance, you know, going, you know, last month, Zero that ended, and the BF-109, both of them World War II fighters. Okay, different scales, but both World War II fighters. By having 3 video builds, it just means I can add that variety. I mean, I'm kind of thinking somewhere along the lines, now this isn't going to be fixed in stone, but I'm kind of thinking, you know what, we can have a permanent jet aircraft, we could have a permanent World War II fighter or bomber going on at all times, and we can also have, you know, a permanent bit of armour going on at all times. So at all times I'm trying to work, and again, it's not set in stone, I want to kind of work it so, you know, there's always armour going on, something World War II, something modern jets. And what I also want to try and do, I mean, again, this is probably just a bonus more than anything, I want to try and squeeze it to 4 builds, so that, you know, maybe the 4th build can be something like miniatures, ships, sci-fi, that kind of thing, or whatever really. I mean, you know, I'm trying to go for the variety over, you know, trying to get, you know, the videos out quicker by, you know, releasing it every week. So hopefully that will be better. Now, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, you guys decide really what you want. I mean, if you go on the forums and if you get together and say, look, we don't like it that way, we want to do it this way, you know, by all means I'll change it back. So give me any feedback if you like it or don't like it, and I'll either change it or I'll, you know, keep it as it is. But I'm hoping the variety will be a lot better. The other thing is as well, Marty on the forum has also been asking if I could do a Great Wall Hobbies inbox review, and yes, I do want to do the Great Wall Hobbies inbox review. I've got my eye on I'm in the Fulcrum MiG 2029. That one looks really nice, but so does the F-15 Eagle, looks very nice as well. And I've heard a lot of good things about Great Wall Hobbies kits. They do look really nice. You know, they are a little bit pricey. I mean, maybe £50–60, but I have been itching to have a look myself, and I will have that ordered in August. So hopefully we're probably talking September, we'll have an inbox review of that, Marty. So you know, that is going to be coming your way soon. Next up, the group build. Now the F4 Phantom group build is going on really nice. We've still got several months left, so I mean, there's plenty of time for you guys to still get in, buy a kit, get started, and still finish and get entered. So I mean, you know, it's not really getting to that point where, you know, you can't enter. You can still enter if you want to. So anyone who's maybe new to Genesis Models, maybe this month or last month, you know, you can still get in there and join the group build. For those of you who are still building away, you know, I've been looking at your work and it does look really fantastic. We've even got someone who's already finished one as well, and that looks fantastic too. And there's quite a lot of you, so I mean, I've got a feeling I'm going to have a hard time judging this one. So you know, keep an eye out for that. You know, go on the forum, have a look. Absolutely fantastic work going on there. But what I'm going to do now is we're going to have a look at some paintbrushes. We've looked at the Winsor & Newton paintbrushes, but what I want to look at now is some paintbrushes that you know, shall we say, is probably the same quality but a lot cheaper. You know, maybe we're paying for the Winsor & Newton Series 7 brand name, because let's take a look at the video and you'll see for yourself you know what I mean. So let's take a look. Hello there, welcome to Genessis-Models. My name's Bobby Waldron. In this video we're going to have a nice product review of the Paletria paintbrush range, and the actual paintbrush range we're going to be looking at is the Rubloff paintbrush range. Sorry if my Russian's a bit off, it most likely is, but those are the names of them. Now these paintbrushes, they are from again, what was that, Paletria, which is a nice, pretty kind of popular Russian art company, and these are pure sable paintbrushes, proper Kolinsky paintbrushes from Russia. So you know, we're talking top quality paintbrushes, and we're just going to have a bit of a close look, and we're going to see how they perform a bit. Now I've been using them for a bit and they do feel really nice. I mean, the few things that you want from a paintbrush really is you want it to be able to, one, hold a lot of paint, and two, you want it to hold its shape, and then there's also durability. So one kind of little test we can do on the back of the palm of our hand, I do find that if we just brush around in circles just like so and do figure of eights, what should happen if it's a good quality paintbrush is you should be able to do this and we've still got our shape pretty nice there. If it's a low quality paintbrush, it will lose its shape. But to give it a bit more of a test, we can get a bit of paint out here, and we can actually do the same thing but with actual paint on here. So I'm just gonna now paint this on, and I'm just gonna do the whole figure of eights and circles, really try and test that shape. And hopefully you can see there's a lot of kind of paint that's still coming out of this. And then if we bring you in, hopefully you'll see that we've still got our shape even after doing all that kind of painting. That is what you're after, is to keep that shape. Then we can also try not just, let's get out another one here. We don't just want to be showing you acrylics as well. What we also want to do is show you enamels, because enamels, they can sort of, you know, lose your shape a bit quicker. They do wear your paintbrush out more. So I'm just getting some enamel wash here. Oops, I've dipped that in a bit too much, so I'll just get a kitchen paper towel. 1 second. There we go, just wipe that off. We don't want to, never want to dip it in too much and get it onto the past the bristle end. And then what we want to do the same thing again. We want to brush this around, figure of eight. This is actually a lumpy surface as well. Right, and what we should end up with, if it's a good paintbrush, is we've still got our point. Hopefully, as you can see there, really nice. Now, as I say, I've been using these for quite a bit, doing a bit of this and a bit of that, and from what I've been using oils, enamels, acrylics, and you know, they haven't lost their shape yet, and they do seem to really nicely hold a lot of paint, which, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, they are Kolinsky hairs on here, and you know, they are like basically the best in the world. Now the thing is, to kind of finish off this little product review, what's the price? Where do we get them from? Now I'm kind of comparing this to Winsor & Newton Series 7 because I've done a nice product review of that. It's on the Genessis-Models website, and those paintbrushes I've just got down here, they are very nice. I have used them, and it really is one of these things, you know, if you start using these top quality paintbrushes like Winsor & Newton Series 7, you really notice the difference. You know, your paint work gets better just by having it. Hope you enjoyed that little product review of the Kolinsky paintbrushes. Now, as usual, you know, the full version will be released in August on the usual Friday news update. Now, I got those paintbrushes from hobbycolours.com, and I didn't just get those paintbrushes, I did get quite a lot of other stuff. I mean, it's the place where I'm getting all this Akan paint range stuff from, and the more I've kind of looked into it, the more I find that, you know, they've got a lot of other cool stuff, you know, not just paints, but, you know, all sorts of thinners and glues, and, you know, lots of really cool stuff, which I want to do some other product reviews on them as well. And I also hear that Hobby Colours is having a bit of a discount on the Akan range as well, which also brings me to another thing about the Akan range. It is actually pronounced Akan and spelled A-K-A-N, not pronounced Akar and spelled A-K-A-H. It's a Russian thing, I don't understand it, but someone's kindly filled me in and let me know how it's pronounced and spelt properly. Although it does show on the bottles spelled A-K-A-H. Yeah, again, it's a Russian thing, I don't quite understand it, but it's Akan. So that's nice and interesting there. So we'll have a look at them, and actually the Akan range as well. One of the next video builds that are going to be coming up, we're going to really look at the Akan range for a good reason, and you'll see that later. But what I want to do now in this part of the show is I want to start a new kind of sort of segment to the new to these Genesis model shows, and that is to do a kit release news bit. Now again, you know, get on the forum, let me know, you know, if you like this kind of stuff or you don't like this kind of stuff, because what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to basically each and every month show you guys, you know, what has been released, because a lot of the time I'm looking at all the different releases in all the different places. I do lots of research into, you know, what's been released and everything, and, you know, a lot of the time it's like, yeah, there's some kits that are like big releases, everyone's been waiting for them, you know, and everyone knows it's coming. But you know what, there are so many other kits out there that are being released, and you know, they haven't got the advertisement or the publicity behind them, and you know what, we do miss a lot of nice kits that, you know, we don't hear about or know about. And that's the whole point of this little segment now, is to kind of show you each and every month, hopefully, if you like it, you know, pretty much every kit that's been released, even aftermarket parts, just so you can see and make sure you don't miss any of these kit releases. Because trust me, the amount of research that you can put into finding out what's being released from all the different manufacturers can take you ages. So, you know, hopefully hearing it and seeing it here right now in one nice little segment will save you hours of searching through the internet. So let's check out this new little segment here of kit release news.
Hello there, and welcome to Genesis Models August 2014 kit release news. This month we've got a nice load of aircraft and armour kits to show you, but first up, 1/48 scale aircraft, and that's going to be the Mitsubishi BF-109 G6, and it's the Royal Class by Edard. We've also got the X-47B US Navy by Freedom Models, nice new tool there. We've also got the F-101AC Voodoo by Kitty Hawk. We've also got the Super Tucano by Hobby Boss as well. Airfix has got their new tool of the Spitfire Mark 5B. Edard have also released their MiG-21R Weekend Edition. We've also got the Focke-Wulf 190 Night Fighter by Edard Provipack as well, and the F6 F3 Hellcat by Edard. Next up, aircraft 1/32 scale. We've just got the singular North American P-51K Mustang with a nice load of weapons there by Dragon. Next up, armour 1/35 scale. We've got the Panzer V by Zvesta. We've got a Soviet flamethrower tank by Hobby Boss, and we've also got the Soviet T-37 TU command tank by Hobby Boss as well. We've also got a GCT 155mm, big nasty thing there by Hobby Boss. We've got Tamiya's British Sherman Firefly and 6 figures as well. We've got the Russian Terminator fire support vehicle by Ming Models, very mean thing there. And we've also got the 4x4 MRAP truck by Kinetic Models. And finally, we've also got a nice Porsche 934 Valiant Tamiya 1/24 scale.
Hopefully that's been a lot of nice information for you, and hopefully you're probably going off thinking I want to buy this and I want to buy that now. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. Remember, get to the website, in the news section, let me know what you think of the show and that new little segment there for kit release news. Now we're going to come to the part of the show which you've probably all been waiting for, is what's going to be the next builds going on here at Genesis Models. It's not just one, not just two, but we've got 3 that are being released for August. So you know what, let's just get cracked on and let's have little clips of the new builds going on here at Genesis Models. As you can see, very messy stuff. Now this back of our exhaust, I just want to show you how to get it like this. Hopefully, as you can just see in there, we've nicely sanded that away until we've got all that nicely coming through. Looks very nice. Very kind of delicate and fragile and everything. I said I wasn't going to do it, but I think, you know what, I think I'll show you at least, and we'll see how we go. Now, just getting a sanding stick, what we're going to do is we're just going to nicely flatly sand at it. We don't want to be using our sponge sanding sticks. Putting it on the desk allows us to nicely get it, you know, relatively level and flat. And what you should see is, as you sand away, when you get kind of closer, let's bring you in a little bit more, as you get closer, the sanding dust starts to come through onto this side, and if we get a little toothbrush, we can just brush away at this, maybe both sides, and hopefully, as you can see, you know, we do start to get this kind of start coming through, but you've got to do it kind of nice and lightly. We want to sand a bit and sort of check it, because it really is such a, you know, a hairline that we're going to be leaving behind, that you know, we could just so easily sand too much. So just sand a bit and keep checking. Sand and check, sand and check. Right then, I think I've got this now, so I just want to brush away at this quite carefully, and hopefully we should have just nicely sanded that away. And there we go. Hopefully you can see that side. Okay, we've got quite a bit of sanding dust going on here. Let me just kind of blow this off with the airbrush. There we go, that's a lot quicker and easier. So hopefully, as you can see, that has turned out rather well. And you know, I was thinking that this was going to be quite flimsy, but actually it's not that bad. Actually, that should be just fine. And then with this one going on top, you know, we really do get a nice bit of back of the exhaust there. That is rather nice. I would have thought photo etch would have been better, but actually, you know, I don't mind that. You just got to really take your time, sand a bit, check it, sand a bit, check it, and just make sure you don't go over the top. So that is rather nice. Next thing is the wheels. Nice little technique here where what we can do is we have got like a faint sort of join line where the two molds come together, and you know, it's kind of like flash, but it's very faint, you know, just to get it really nice and proper. What we can do is we're going to use this sanding stick, which is like a nice sort of fine-ish sanding stick, and we're just going to sand all the way around. Right, we're going to get rid of this tiny bit of flash so it's all nice, but what we're not going to do is we're not going to kind of go down to finer sanding sticks and make it all nice and smooth and fine. We're just going to actually leave this at this sanding stick. So once I've done this and gone all the way around, which hopefully you can see, hopefully as you can see, it's gone a little bit on the rough side, which is basically, you know, absolutely, you know, perfect for this, because it's going to show that this wheel's been in use. It's you know, it is on the tank. You know, it is getting used. It's not smooth. You know, it's going to be a little bit rough. And then just to add a little bit more for when we come round to weathering, getting a blade, and I'm just going to cut in. Right, and then cut down. Right, and what that's done there is it looks like the road wheel has got onto a stone or something, and that stone's like cut away a bit of the rubber. Back when I was in the Armoured Corps, I used to see that all the time, where there'd be like cuts and scratches, and you know, bits of the rubber was, you know, chopped out somehow by stones and whatever it was that maybe got caught under. Right, so just, you know, cut out a few little bits, and it will just add that nice extra little bit of something when it comes around to weathering, because that will look really nice when we put pigments on there and everything, because it'll kind of slightly bring them out and show you the weathering, the wear, and it's just that nice bit of extra detail. And just glue this together with some Tamiya extra thing. I'm just going to basically put a nice blob inside here, because it is a bit hard to get the brush in here when it's put together. So a nice quick blob in there, and that should be enough to glue that together. Right, and then when it comes to mounting them, because we want to be able to spray all these wheels separately. Now we could drill a hole. Well, we can't, because we can't actually get a cocktail stick in there. We could drill a hole somewhere maybe here, but let's just use the holes that are already here, push that on there, and then that is all good for any kind of spraying and painting, nicely hands-free. Stick that in some sort of polystyrene and you're all good to go. Just want to make a nice antenna here for our Panzer III. This little piece here, we need to glue on a nice big nice thin antenna just on there. Now to do that, the instructions want us to do that nice little trick where we melt pieces of plastic. Now just cut off, just drop that 1 second, cut off just like a load of straight bits off our sprues that we've got lying around spare. You want a lot, because you know what, it never comes out perfect the first time. You know, it's best to make about 3, 4, 5 of them and then sort of like pick the best one. So I've got a tape measure because we want it to be 5.5 centimeters long, right? And then we're just going to get a lighter, and instead of going off with a lighter, holding the lighter, having one hand on the lighter, one hand on our plastic bit here, easier if we just light a candle and use the flame from a candle rather than the lighter. This way we've got two hands free. So what we want to do, put the piece of plastic just above the flame, right, and then we want to wait for that piece of plastic to literally bend. As you can see there, once it's bent, that means it's nice and sort of gone all kind of runny and melted, and then you can just pull on it nicely. Now when you pull on it, it's going to get so far, and then you're going to feel like, you know what, it's going to break if I pull any more than that. So that's where you want to stop, and we want to hold it in this position basically until it's nice and dry. Right, because we don't want it sort of drying in a bit of a bent position or something like that, because if it dries in a sort of a bent position, you know, that's the way it's going to stay. You want to keep it straight, so you want to have held it for a little bit until it cooled down and dried. So I'm just doing it again. As I say, you want to do this a few times, and that's nicely melted there. Slowly pull back on it until you feel like it's just not going to go anymore and it's going to break. And then once you've got that distance, hold, let it cool, let it kind of go nice and hard, and it should dry in that nice straight position that we've got going on here. So we can put that down and leave that like that. And as I say, do it a couple of times and just pick the best one. Cut it to, and then we'll cut it to size, and you simply just glue it in like you do any other piece, and that will be your antenna there. There is another way we can do this. It is a bit more tricky. If you really want to get a very long sort of a really long, really thin piece, and that is to hold both ends. Don't wait for it to curl up, but actually rotate the piece of plastic, really get it really melted, really kind of get it sort of nicely heated up. Oh, not that much. Right, and while it's really runny and wet, we're going to pull and pull and pull and pull, and because we've really sort of let this get really hot to the point where, as you could see, that went on fire, because it's more runny and more hotter, we can see, as you can see, I'm really sort of, you know, I've literally kind of doubled the length of what I've been. Hopefully that's wet your lips for August, for all the new video builds that are coming up. Now the MiG-21, that one, just a little talk about that one. You know, nice Edard 1/48 scale MiG-21, looks like a fantastic kit. It builds into a fantastic kit. With that one, we've got loads of resin, we've got exhaust, we've got the cockpit. You know, we've also got a 4-stage camo to do on there, and not only that, I want to attempt some new weathering techniques with the aircraft. So I'm kind of thinking about bringing stuff over from Armour into aircraft with the whole weathering side of things, because let's face it, you know, a nice you know, Russian jet, nice and dirty, you know, good opportunity to do that with the aircrafts. Now the Panzer III, you know, that is a nice, quick, rapid video build. I've really quickly sort of gone through the build stage and I've concentrated on the whole the spraying and the weathering stage with that rapid video build, so we really get to look at, you know, all sorts of weathering, you know, and really get messy with some real muddy stuff, because it's a nice European sort of theatre of war, so we really get to get nice and muddy. So, you know, hopefully you're gonna enjoy that one. And then the third one is a question mark. It's a question mark because actually I still don't know myself yet. I've got a few ideas in my head what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to be starting it about mid-August, ready to be released sort of just at the end of August, the first episode. And as I say, I don't know if I'm going to do it as a step-by-step, a rapid video build. I've got in my head about 2 or 3 kits what I'm thinking about doing, you know, so you'll have to wait out for that one, so it'll be a nice surprise for you. But actually what I'm doing right now, which you might want to kind of watch on the webcam, is what I like to do is teach myself still. You know, I don't know everything, you know, I like to, you know, try and keep myself teaching myself, but what I like to do, I don't like to go off and, you know, just go, oh, I'm going to try doing this now and just video it straight away, because you know what I mean, the first time you attempt something, you learn and you get the experience. So what I like to kind of just turn all the cameras off and just build, you know, and learn and get the experience, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm actually doing right now, I'm doing this LaFerrari. You know, as I say, you know, this is sort of like a different area, you know, from doing aircraft and armoured vehicles. You know, you've got to really sort of get your spray work absolutely pristine, spot on, and just clean and tidy modelling with these kind of things. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just building this, I'm getting experience, teaching myself, so that in the future I can go off and, you know, kind of do a step by step or something on doing you know, cars and stuff, which you know, right now I am sort of working on you know, gloss work. You know, you've got to get the gloss work, as I say, really super high shine, and that's what I want to work on. So, you know, throughout August, if you want to get on the webcam and watch me build this, because whenever I'll get this on the bench now, the webcam's going to be on live watching me build this. You know, that way I don't have to do any editing or speaking. It's just, you know, I'll just leave the webcam on and you can just watch me work. You know, I can get on with it and get it done a lot quicker than if I was filming and editing and all those kind of things. So hopefully you'll have a little look out for that. And what we've got next up, we have July competition coming up next. Now let's announce the July competition for 2014, and that was for Airfix's 1/48 scale Western Lynx AH7 plus 8 British Army soldiers, and you've got like a nice sort of set which includes some acrylic paints and stuff, which, you know, some of that's a bit, you know, throw it in the bin anyway. But, you know, nice kit there. Remember, there was a load of nice photo etch in there. So after doing a random non-generation program and counting down the thread, I came to Warren 24. So congratulations to you, Warren 24. I'll give you an email, I'll get your mailing address and your size t-shirt for one of Genessis-Models deluxe version t-shirts, and I'll get that shipped out to you. Now we're going to announce what's going to be the competition prize for August 2014, and what we're going to be giving away here at Genessis-Models is going to be a BF109 G6 Provipack edition by Eddard 1/48 scale. Nice new sort of half new tooling by Eddard, and you know, you get all the kind of the photo etch and everything in there. So a nice kit here. I did want to go out and get the raw class edition as well. I might get that at some point, we'll see, but very nice kit. Also going to be giving away with that the deluxe edition t-shirt for Genessis-Models. So to be in it to win it, plain and simply, you know, get to the forum, and on the forum under competitions there'll be a section August 2014 competition, and all you got to do is make a post in there saying I'm in, count me in, or something to that effect, and you're entered. Please, no double posting. And at the end of the month, for the September 2014 Genessis-Models show, I will then announce the winner, just like I did with the July 2014 competition for that what was it, the Lynx AH7. So sadly we're coming to the end of the show. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I hope to get some feedback off you of the few of the new kit release news bit going on there, and whether you like the new format for the video build releases and whatnot. But until next time, I'm just going to leave you nicely with some photos of what members have got up to on the Genessis-Models forum. So until next time, my name is Bobby Waldron. This is the Genessis-Models show, and I hope you've enjoyed.